For many years, France did not talk openly about its history of slavery. This part of our past was hidden, almost forgotten. But it is a history that we must remember. France was deeply involved in the slave trade. For centuries, French ships carried millions of Africans across the ocean. These men, women, and children were forced to work on plantations in French colonies. Their labor enriched France, but their lives were filled with suffering. It is important to acknowledge this dark chapter in our history. We cannot understand our present if we ignore our past. The legacy of slavery continues to affect us today. It is reflected in our society, our culture, and our identities. Recognizing the injustices of the past is the first step towards building a more just and equitable future. France's involvement in the slave trade was driven by economic greed. Sugar, coffee, and other products from the colonies were in high demand in Europe. The slave trade was a lucrative business, and French merchants profited greatly from the exploitation of enslaved Africans. The wealth generated from this trade contributed to the development of French cities and industries. However, this prosperity came at a terrible human cost. The silence surrounding France's colonial slavery has had a profound impact on our society. It has created a gap in our understanding of our own history and the experiences of those who were enslaved. This silence has also allowed for the perpetuation of stereotypes and prejudices. By confronting this difficult past, we can begin to heal the wounds of history and build a more inclusive society. The fight to end slavery in France was long and difficult. Many people fought bravely for abolition. They believed that all human beings deserved to be free. One of these abolitionists was Victor Schœlcher. Schœlcher traveled to the colonies and witnessed the horrors of slavery firsthand. He returned to France, determined to end this injustice. Schœlcher worked tirelessly to raise awareness about the brutality of slavery. He wrote books and articles, gave speeches, and lobbied politicians. His efforts helped to turn public opinion against slavery. In 1848, the French government finally abolished slavery in all its colonies. This was a momentous victory for the abolitionist movement. The abolition of slavery was a turning point in French history. It marked the beginning of a long process of reckoning with our colonial past. However, the road to true equality and justice was still long. The legacy of slavery continued to cast a shadow over French society. Despite the abolition of slavery, the exploitation of laborers in French colonies continued in various forms. The French government implemented systems of forced labor and imposed heavy taxes on the formerly enslaved population. These practices ensured that the economic benefits of colonialism continued to flow to France, while the people in the colonies struggled to rebuild their lives. Alphonse de Lamartine was a poet, writer, and politician. He was also a powerful voice for abolition. Lamartine believed in the equality of all people, regardless of their race or origin. He used his position in the French government to advocate for the rights of enslaved Africans. In a famous speech to the French Parliament, Lamartine declared, "I come before you to demand, in the name of humanity, in the name of our national honor, the immediate and complete abolition of slavery in all our colonies." His words resonated deeply with the French people. Lamartine's eloquence and passion helped to galvanize public support for abolition. Lamartine's legacy extends beyond his role in the abolition of slavery. He was a champion of democracy, freedom, and human rights. His writings and speeches continue to inspire people around the world to fight for a more just and equitable society. Despite Lamartine's efforts and the eventual abolition of slavery, the process of dismantling the colonial system was slow and complex. The transition from a slave-based economy to one based on free labor was fraught with challenges. The French government faced resistance from colonists who were reluctant to relinquish their power and privilege. Today we remember the abolition of slavery on May 10th. This day is a time to reflect on our past and to celebrate the triumph of freedom over oppression. It is also a day to honor the memory of those who suffered under slavery. Their stories must never be forgotten. May 10th is not just a day for remembrance, it is also a day for education. We must teach future generations about the horrors of slavery and the importance of fighting for justice and equality. By learning from our past, we can build a better future for all. Remembering the abolition of slavery is not enough. We must also acknowledge the lasting impact of colonialism on French society and on the lives of people in former colonies. We must continue to fight against all forms of racism, discrimination, and inequality. The fight for freedom and equality is ongoing. We must never take our own freedom for granted. We must always be vigilant against injustice and oppression, wherever they may occur. By remembering our past and learning from it, we can create a more just and equitable world for all.